My name is Praneet Loke, and today I want to do a demo of Pulumi and GitLab CI/CD. And the topic that I want to talk about is how can you merge with confidence with Pulumi and GitLab CI/CD. So I hope you all had a chance to catch up with Chris Smith from his talk about infrastructure testing. But there are two important concepts that I wanted to talk about related to the demo today. One is the fact that as part of your merge request pipelines, you're running previews from Pulumi in order to see if changes that you make in your branch will affect your infrastructure in some way. And then once your merge request is approved and you merge the request, your master branch pipeline is going to run the up command from Pulumi to actually apply the update to your infrastructure as well as any application code. And so this is a great way to kind of separate the fact that you have this review pipeline that only shows you a possible desired state, as well as any diffs with what's already out there versus what you're changing. And then once you're merged, actually applying the update itself. And so you get a preview of how your infrastructure can actually be affected. So without further ado, I wanted to dive right into the demo here. First, wanted to show the setup of our pipeline itself. So we have a very simple CI pipeline here, which just has one stage, and we use two jobs in this. One that runs the preview as part of merge requests, and then the other one runs just for the master branch builds, which is otherwise known as the merge builds or push builds, whichever terminology you're used to, and actually runs the Pulumi up command itself. The scripts that those jobs are running are pretty simple. For the preview step, we're restoring dependencies and selecting the Pulumi stack, and then running the Pulumi preview command. And then for the run Pulumi script, we're once again pretty much doing the same thing, except this time we're running Pulumi up and then passing the -- yes flag because this is a CI/CD environment and it's not interactive. So of course, there are some things that you can do here, like caching dependencies and whatnot, which GitLab CI/CD offers. You can do artifact caching as well as dependency caching to speed up your pipeline. Since this is a demo, I've kept it really simple, but there are some advanced features that you can take a look at by reading through some docs. As far as the Pulumi application itself, we have a very simple application here that deploys a static website using the Pulumi AWS package. Pulumi supports a lot of cloud providers, major cloud providers, as well as cloud providers or service providers for those cloud providers as well. And so in this specific app, we create an S3 bucket, and we leverage the static website hosting feature by specifying the index document for that bucket, which enables the static website hosting feature for that bucket, as well as we read through the folder from the www folder. We read through all the files and upload them as bucket objects. And we also finally create a public read policy for this bucket. Now, of course, I'm showing you a modified version of this. And if we were to change to master, we should see that, we are creating a bucket policy that uses that public read policy. So for demonstration purposes, I wanted to show a potential merge request that one of your team members might raise. You're going about your daily changes, and one of the things is, you have a requirement to change the HTML file that gets uploaded. And so when you make a merge request change, you should see that this file was changed, and then you're able to merge that. And so let's take a look at that. So I already went ahead and pushed a change that changes the index.html, but I also went ahead and changed my index.js, as I was showing before. Though I have this function that can generate a public read policy, I've deleted my public read policy resource itself, which would leverage that and attach that policy to my bucket objects. So I've got two changes going on here. But as we all know and we've come across merge requests where the title says one thing, but then the changes actually are something else. And it's very likely that some people may have been testing it and then they forget to undo the change, and therefore a change slips into the merge request because it was even though it was unintentional. So looking at the changes, it's pretty clear that I've removed the bucket policy, but I also changed the title. But then to an approver, the title looks pretty innocent here. That I'm just updating the title, or the MR title is pretty innocent looking. But then unless the approver actually goes into the pipeline or looks at the detailed diff view of the MR itself, it's not pretty clear that the bucket policy is being dropped, which is a dangerous thing here because this is a public website. It is a static website that we're deploying. And if the bucket policy for public read access is dropped, then the static website is no longer accessible to anyone out on the internet. Though there are some buckets where you don't want public access, this is one that we do actually want the public access for. So that's a bad thing. However, what if we had a way to show that the changes that you're making, whatever we saw in the merge request pipeline logs, if there was a way to surface that into the context of our merge request itself and make it easy for our approvers to see that the bucket policy was actually being deleted along with the index.html file being updated. Well, I'm happy to announce that Pulumi now supports merge request notes by way of GitLab webhooks for both groups as well as project level hooks. So you should be able to set up a webhook for all of your projects. And if you're using Pulumi, you should be able to surface these useful comments in your merge requests that really make the infrastructure changes front and center for your approvers or for your code reviewers. And more importantly, it helps you as the author of the MR also to be aware that, you made an unintentional change, and that's going to end up dropping the bucket policy, which is a bad thing. And so it's going to make you, as the author of the MR, to also take a second look at the changes that you've put in, and act as the final stopping point for any unintentional changes. The other really useful thing here is we're also able to link into the specific preview for this Pulumi stack. And so, for example, I've got the stack on my local machine for this demo purpose, but basically, when you click this link, you'll be able to go directly into that preview itself, and then see all the detailed changes here. So you can see that the preview says that there's a delete action on the bucket policy and then an update action on the index.html file. And if we look at the detailed diff view, you can see that the entire resource is being dropped. And then the index.html is changing because the content of the file itself changed, which that one is correct. And because Pulumi enables tight integration between GitLab, it's easy to see that this preview was associated with a specific merge request, and this was a pipeline number, and this was the MR branch that triggered this preview. And so you get that full context of when did this preview run, why did this preview run, and who ran it, and such. And so because I now know that the bucket policy is being deleted, I can take the corrective action to actually restore my bucket policy. So I'm going to go back into my code here and restore my bucket policy. Okay, and then we'll push up that change. And we should see that a new change was pushed up to this branch. And we can see that because we pushed up a change to the MR, and note that we have a rule that says we should run the Pulumi preview job for all merge requests. And so any changes to the merge request will trigger that pipeline to run again. And so our pipeline is running again, and when the new preview comment or preview note is added by the Pulumi service, we will see that the bucket policy is no longer being deleted, and only the index.html file will be updated. So while our pipeline takes a minute to run there, let's go back to our slides here. Okay, great. So while we have the pipeline running, I also wanted to talk about the testing strategies. I mentioned that with the webhook integration, we can surface the comments about any changes that you're applying to your infrastructure and make them front and center as part of your merge request. There's also testing strategies that you can adopt to prevent mistakes in your infrastructure. As you probably already are aware, for application testing, there's various ways of writing unit tests and integration tests, and to be able to mock dependencies and such. With infrastructure and specifically with Pulumi, because we're using general purpose programming languages, you can pretty much do the same thing. So we have various testing strategies here. Depending on what you're looking to achieve, you could either use unit tests, which allow you to write really quick tests that validate certain things about your infrastructure, or you can write policy tests that enforce policies about or security policies or policies that are organizational level policies on your Pulumi stacks. Or you can also write integration tests, which allow you to set up and tear down your infrastructure to validate that your entire infrastructure works as you're making changes. Of course, to learn more about these testing strategies and to see examples, please head over to our website, pulumi.com, and check out the testing guide to learn more. But let's go look at the job itself, and it seems that our job is completed now, and you can see that as we expect. The bucket policy is no longer being deleted. The only thing that's being modified is our index.html, staying true to our merge request title. And you can also see that there's been a comment posted here that shows that only the index.html file is being updated and not the bucket policy is not being dropped anymore. And so if we head over to the preview, we can see the detailed diff in the Pulumi console, also showing that the bucket object for the index.html file is the only thing that's being updated. So that's all I wanted to show you today. But I hope that you get started with Pulumi today and check out our many examples. We also have guides to get you started on setting up Pulumi in GitLab CI/CD and using the best practices with GitOps and also infrastructure testing. Also head over to the docs to learn how you can set up the webhook integration with GitLab and Pulumi, and make sure that your infrastructure stays good and you can merge with confidence. All right, that's it.